So we're on Bava Metzia Aleph Zion.
Okay, we have Zion, you said?
Aleph Zion.
Oh, why am I here?
In Bava Metzia.
Oh, I don't get it right. Okay. Um, I I have base olive here. My bookmarks in base olive. Is that right? That's wrong?
That's the new ones.
That's yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aleph Zion.
So I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Okay. If one finds documents of divorce, deeds of emancipation of slaves, testaments, gifts, or receipts, he should not return them. For I say that after they were written, he can reconsider deciding not to give them. If one finds evaluation documents, supports documents, Kalitza certificates, refusal, selection certificates, or any other act of court, he should return them. If one finds any document in a leather bag, in a case or a roll of documents or a bundle of documents, he should return them. Now, how many constitute a bundle of documents? Three fastened one to the other. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says if they are of one who borrows from three, he must return them to the debtor. If of three who borrow from one, he should return them to the creditor. If one found a document among his documents and he does not know who gave them to him, he must remain until Eliyahu comes. If there are receipts among them, he should do what is written in the receipts. And some fines belong to him, and some he must announce. The fines belong to him. If he found scattered produce or money, scattered produce, scattered money, small sheaves in the public domain, round cakes of pressed figs, loaves of a baker's bread, strings of fish, pieces of meat, fleeces of wool brought from the country, bundles of flax or tongues of purple wool. These belong to him. These are the words of Reb Meir. Reb Yehuda says anything containing something unusual must be announced. However, how he found a round cake and he pot shed was inside it, or a loaf and money was inside it. Ben Shimon ben Elazar says all new utensils need not be announced. Okay.
Okay. Having said what are the things you don't need to announce that you can keep for yourself? Now, what are the things that you do need to announce?
Ah,
Ein chayav lahachriz. Matzah perus bakli. He found produce, but it was inside a vessel. Okay, inside a pot or inside whatever it is, or kli kamashu, or even just a plain vessel, because the vessel will have simanim on it typically. Now that's as distinct from the kli ein poria, which is brand new and has no simanim. But typically a kli that's been used will have some sort of siman on it somewhere that somebody will be able to recognize from its use. Um, but the produce, now that you have produce inside that pot, it presumably belongs to the owner of the pot. Maas Bakis, if you found money inside a pouch, now the pouch itself will have simanim on it, and therefore the money inside it will belong to the owner. Or kis kamoshu, or just a plain pouch. Tzibure peros, bundles of produce. Tzibure maos, bundles of money, where the siman itself, the siman could be the way that the bundle is tied, could be the total amount of money inside the package. These are things that you could use as a siman. Shlosha matbeot ze al gav ze. The fact that you have three coins stacked on top of the other looks at they were put there intentionally, and the person who lost them, or, put it down and then forgot to pick it up, will be able to say, oh yeah, I stacked three coins like this in a sort of a triangular formation or whatever it is, and then they'll be able to say, okay, that's who it belongs to. Krichos b'rishus hayachid. Now that we said in the previous Mishnah, krichos b'rishus harabim, you can just keep. But the small bundles, if they're rishus hayachid, they're going to get trampled, and any siman will be lost. But if it's in the rishus hayachid, like for example, why would you be in the rishus hayachid? Let's say it's a farm, it's a private property, but he's given rishus for people to walk through. And then you see on the side that there's a bundle of produce that was probably dropped by one of the passers-by. That is not that it would you'd have to pick up and announce, I found this, because it's bundled and it's got a special kind of a knot or something that will make it distinct. Kikaros shel balabayas. We said that baker's loaves are free for all. Whoever finds it keeps it. But if it is baked by a householder, you can tell the difference between home baked bread and baker baked bread, right? The one that comes is just like standard. They all look the same, whereas when you bake something in your own oven, there's a definite look to to what it looks like. Gizeh tzemer halakuchos mebeis uman. Previously, in the previous Mishnah, we said when they were raw wool that's just been sheared off the sheep, there's absolutely nothing that'll distinguish it. But now, when it's taken from the first guy who combs the wool, now it's done in a specific way. It's tied up in a specific way. It's got and it does have a simon on it. Kade yain with kade shemen, or barrels of wine, barrels of oil. You find these things, they've got simanim, and therefore you have to announce them. And now, having said the things that you can keep and the things that you have to announce, now there's a third category of things that you're not sure.
How
But
long do you have to make the announcement? How long do you have to wait until you say, I can't find anybody?
there's no limitation.
Limitation. Okay. Is that like three times or four times or anything?
No. You have to make at least one announcement in a
Right.
public place. It doesn't say that you have to come back and do it every day, every week, or whatever. You just
Right.
put up a poster and say, found whatever, come and give me simanim. And eventually you just say, well, now I don't know when this owner's going to come, but yehi munach, you have to keep it aside. And the Mishnah will deal with how to deal with something if the owner doesn't come and claim it, how long you have to look after it for. We'll get there in the Mishnahs.
Okay.
Okay. So now the middle category of things where you're not sure. Matzah achar hagapa or achar gader gozelos mekusharin. Right? You found a bunch of little birds that are alive,
Mm.
and they're tied to each other. So they look like they belong to somebody, but but they're in a completely random place, like behind a fence or behind the or yeah, b'shvilin shebesados. Oh, it's in on a path somewhere in a field, and they don't actually they clearly belong to somebody, um, and they might not have discovered their loss yet. So on the one hand, can you pick them up and announce them? Not really, because there's no siman on them. But can you keep them? No, you can't, because they clearly belong to somebody, and this person might come back for them. It's possible that he deliberately left them there. Okay, so it's not clear from the circumstances who it belongs to, whether they actually whether this person dropped them there deliberately or whether they got lost. So therefore, hareze lo yiga behen, don't touch it. Leave it there because the owner might come back for them.
Ah,
And if you take them, then you're making things worse for him because now he's not going to be able to claim them because because kind of yeah, let's say it's Yigram Hefsel Levalim. If there is a simon on them, yes, he should take them, um, because this isn't a well protected place. But since they don't actually have a simon on them, as what is the yeah, so the reason is because if there was a proper simon on them, then you would have to take them to protect them. But but if since there is no simon, you can't assume that you can take them, but you also can't pick them up because you're not going to help anyone.
ah,
Okay, matzah kliba ashpa. What happens if you, for some reason, are burrowing through a garbage pile, as you know often happens, and you find a kli inside there? Now, you say this is nice. Maybe I can keep this. And im mechuse, if it was completely covered, lo yigabo, you should not touch it. Why? Because maybe somebody deliberately hid it there so that they could come back for it later. Okay. V'im megule, however, if it was open and it was like on top of the rubbish pile and it looks like it just fell there, notelo machriz, you must pick it up and announce. This is where it's obviously like not something that would have been thrown out. If it's damaged and you can see that it shouldn't have been thrown out, then just leave it in the garbage pile. Or if you so desire, you can take it because when somebody puts something in the garbage pile, it become hefker. But this is talking about something a kli that's a perfectly good kli. And this looks like it's something that would have been lost. Matzah begal of a kotel yashan. What happens if he found it in a pile of stones or in an old wall, very old wall we're talking about. So it could have been that it belonged to the original inhabitants of Canaan, and the kli itself we're saying is an old and is a very old kli that looks like it's been there for a very long time, rusted or whatever. Hooray, Eile Shelo. Now you can keep that because that's something that most likely belonged to somebody a very, very long time ago, and you can and they've given up on it for sure. Matzah b'kotzel chadash. However, if you found something inside a new wall, but that's also been there for a long time. If it's something that's new, if the item itself is new, then it clearly was put there recently. Then you're not allowed to touch it. Okay. Okay, but if it's an old kli that was found in a new wall that's so you've definitely blocked off the time to recent times, um, but not that recent. Mechetzio v'lachutz. If it's in the half of the wall that's projecting onto the street, that's closer to the street, shelo, then he's allowed to keep it because the owner probably put it there and forgot a long, long time ago. Okay. Mechetzio v'lifnim. But if it's on the inner half, shel balabais, then that's the balabais territory, and he's not allowed to take it out of there. Im haya maskiru la'acherim. What happens if he rents a house, like goes to an Airbnb and finds something inside the house that clearly doesn't belong in the house, but and was so probably left by the previous tenant. Afilu b'socha bais, harei eile shelo. Um, this is talking about a situation where right, so the explanation in the Gemara, I'm going to just pause recording for a second. So Mishna Daled Matzah Bechanos. He found a lost item inside a store. Hooray, Elu Shilo. Whatever you find inside a store is basically it's a rishus rabim. If you find an article that doesn't have a siman on it, right, and it's not part of the store's merchandise, obviously. Um, so so that's you're allowed to keep even though it's inside private property. That's really the chiddush over here, that a store is really private property, but because people are coming and going all the time, and you found, let's say, money lying on the floor of the store, you can keep it. However, if it is behind the shopkeeper's counter, where he's sitting behind the counter, and you see there's some money over there. Now you can't pick up. That is his money, and it's in his private property, and he's allowed to keep that. Same thing goes with the shulchani. The shulchani is a money changer. If whatever money is in front of the table, that the customer is allowed to keep because it was probably from one of the other customers who dropped it, and they've lost it, and now you can't return it. He picks it up, he keeps it. But if it's behind the shulchan, ben kisei v'la shulchan, if it's between his chair and him, that belongs to the money changer. Lokech peros mechavero, a person who purchases produce from his friend, or sheshilach lo chavero peros, or his friend send him a gift of some produce, matzapen maos, and he found money inside this thing. Hooray, elu shelo. Then he's allowed to keep the money. Why? Because it obviously fell in by accident from somebody, not necessarily from his friend. it doesn't mean that his friend dropped the money inside there. You might be nice and say to your friend, "Hey, did you drop some money?" But you wouldn't be required to do such a thing. Okay. However, if the money was inside a pouch, as we learned in Mishnah base, then you have to take it and announce it, and hey, somebody lost money in a pouch. Okay. Well, the Mishnahs took a long the new Mishnahs took a long time. Let's see how much we can do with Chazara. So that's Baba Kama Tes Pes.
Oh, that's where is my deposit? He said to him, it was stolen. I adore you. And he said, Amen. And the witnesses testified against him that he stole it. He pays the twofold payment. If he confesses himself, he pays the principal, a fifth, and a guilt offering. If one robs his father and swears to him and he dies, he pays the principal and a fifth to his sons or to his brothers. But if he does not wish to, he does not have to, he may borrow and the creditors come and receive their payment. If one says to his sons, Konam, if you benefit from what is mine, and he dies, he inherits. But if he said it should apply during his lifetime and after his death, and if he dies, he does not inherit, and he must return it to his sons or his brothers. If he doesn't have, he may borrow, and the creditors come and receive payment. If one robs a
Yeah,
proselyte,
that's it.
that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Condition. If one says to a woman, "You are betrothed to me on condition that I will give you 200 zuz," she's betrothed. He gives it on condition that I will give you it to you from now until 30 days. If he gives it to her within 30 days, she is betrothed. If not, she is not betrothed. If he says on condition that I have 200 zuz and she is betrothed, provided he has 100 zuz, I'm sorry. On the condition that I have 200, I have 200 zuz, he's betrothed, provided he has it. On condition that I will show you 200 zuz, he's betrothed, provided he shows it to her. If he showed it to her on the table, she is not betrothed. If he said, on condition that I have a base core of land, he is betrothed, provided he has it. On condition that I have it in a specific file place, if he has it in that place, she is betrothed. If not, she is not betrothed. On condition that I will show you the base core of land, she is betrothed, provided he will show it to her. If he showed it to her in the valley, she is not betrothed. Reb Meir says any condition which is not like another, because otherwise it is implicit that even in the land of Canaan they should not inherit. Okay.
You haven't finished. No, you skipped. You
I
must
skipped the page.
skip the page. Yeah.
I skipped. Sorry. Let me go back. If he said on condition that I have a base core of land, she is betrothed, provided he has it, and on condition that I have it in a specific place. If he has it in that place, she is betrothed. If not, she is not betrothed. On condition that I will show you a base core of land, she is betrothed, provided if he will show it to her. If he showed it to her in a valley, she is not betrothed. Ramea says any condition which is not like the condition of the children of God, and the children of Reuben is not a condition, as it says. And Moses said to them, if the children of God and the children of Reuben will cross, and it is written, but if they will not cross zealously, Rav Canaan ben Gamliel says it was necessary for the Canaan to be stated, because otherwise it is implicit that even in the land of Canaan they shall not inherit. Okay.
Right. Okay.
We're in the Dharma.
Yeah, this will be the last one, I think.
No, one who makes a net of prohibiting wine is permitted apple wine. If you prohibit oil, is permitted sesame oil. If honey,
wait.
no, we did that one. We did that one.
Wait. Yeah, we're on. That's right. We're in zero.
Good. If one made a net of prohibiting cabbage, he is forbidden in asparagos. Asparagos is permitted cabbage. If you give grits, he is forbidden grits pottage. Rabbi Yossi, however, permits it. If grits pottage is permitted grits, if grits pottage is also forbidden garlic. Rabbi Yossi, however, permits it. If garlic, he has permitted grits pottage. Lentils, he is forbidden waste of lentils. Rabbi Yossi, however, permits it. Waste of lentils, permitted lentils. If one says wheat grains, with respect to my tasting them, he is forbidden them, whether in the form of flour or bread. Grits, with respect to my tasting them, he is forbidden them, whether raw or cooked. Rabbi Yehuda says, if it says calling of grits or wheat grain with respect to my tasting, he is permitted to chew them raw. If one who makes a net prohibiting greens is permitted gourds, Rabbi Akiva, however, permits them. He said to Rabbi Akiva, doesn't a person say to his agent, buy me greens? And he says, I found any gourds. And he said to them, indeed, it is so. But does he say to him, I found any legumes? It is only because bitter gourds are included under the category of greens, but legumes are not included in the category of greens. He is forbidden fresh Egyptian beans for permitted dry ones. One who makes an net prohibiting dagan is forbidden dry Egyptian beans. These are the words of Ramea. The sages, however, say he is forbidden only the 5 varieties. Ramea says one who makes a net prohibiting tuba is forbidden only the 5 grains. However, one who makes a meta from dagan is forbidden all, but he's permitted fruit of the green and trees. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to have to go at this point.
Okay. Okay. I'm finished
All
these. Thank
right.
you. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow,
You
Mr. Shem.
too. Bye.